Are you utilizing standard work? Stay with us.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Welcome, everybody. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're living the dream out there wherever you are. I hope that everything good that needs to come your way is, especially at the holiday season. I kind of feel like at the end of the year, it's okay to just enjoy a little bit of time, relax, just have a good time. I really enjoy the holidays, so I hope you're doing well. I've got two little quotes that I wanted to share with you before we go on. I feel like being a leader sometimes is a lot like boxing. When you think about boxing and you think about those who are the best, most of it is your heart condition. Most of it is you being able to endure or outlast the other person, right? So if you're a superintendent or a PM with the owner or with the workers, right, and you're attempting to get something moved forward that is remarkable on your project and there's pushback, it's a whole lot more like a boxing match than it is anything. Who is going to be in the ring in the final round or whatever you call it in boxing? Most of the time in boxing, it's about endurance. It's about, protecting yourself. It's about not exhausting yourself. And you hear people talk about boxers there. He's going to wear himself out, right? And the great boxers really go in it because it's an endurance game. And if you're a superintendent or a PM attempting to implement lean or operational stability or whatever, just remember it's like boxing. Which one of you or the workers, you or the owner, you or the dissenters, you or whoever, who is going to be standing at the end of this fight? And it better be you, because as soon as people realize that they're not going to win, that's when everybody understands that they need to follow the rules and get on board and give something a chance so you can improve it as a team together from there. So I like that little thought. The other one is, the kids were asking me on my way back from jogging the other day, they're like, "How was your run, Dad?" I was like, "It was hard on my legs and good for my heart." I just said it out of nowhere, and it's kind of clever, but I was just thinking about that. Being a leader and that analogy, tying it like boxing, hard work, dedication, right? Doing the right thing, making change in the industry. It's hard on your legs and good for your heart. Not only your physical heart when you're working hard, but your spiritual heart. It's good for humanity when you stick with things and stay with it. So wanted to share those two little things with you. What's going on with me? Well, I'm done with the LCI Congress, and I'm excited to be done. That was a lot of work. I was beat after a couple of those days, and I think we got a lot of connections and a lot of advertising and a lot of sharing of podcasts, and so I'm really excited about that. So, I'm doing well, and I've just realized that it's time for the next 6 months to just grind and stay at it and get this online content done, the blog post done, and just get a lot of content out for the next wave of expansion for Elevate Construction. So I'm going to enjoy the holidays, but still work hard and just keep our existing clients really, really happy. All right, let's talk about fans and feedback. I've just started listening to your podcast on episode 32 and have started implementing some of what you have discussed. As a younger superintendent running my first job, I have seen only a handful of projects, most of which are the ones that I have been a part of. One of the lean principles that I want to start using is nothing hits the ground. Obviously, we do not want trash in the building, and I have made that clear in the orientations, but I understand we need to have some sort of organization system within the building for trades to store the material. We are on a small project and do not have room for connexes. I was wondering if you have some visuals or some ideas of how to use this technique. One of the big things I want to do is keep extension cords up off the ground. I attached my first thought of some areas that we can store items per trade. Thanks for taking the time to read. And if you have any resources, that would be extremely helpful. So really appreciate the comment. Really appreciate the reach out here. Really, the rule that I had was it's either in a trash can, in a trash bag is on your lift or your ladder, or it's on wheels, or it's on a colored pallet where you know what contractor it belongs to. And we usually I don't think it's a good practice ever to put anything on the floor itself, right? So nothing hits the floor is a great rule. That means if they're on the ladder, they put their trash in the trash can. One time one person stupidly asked me, yes, I just said stupidly, hey, do you want me to go up and cut a piece of insulation, let the trash fall, take the lift down, pick up the trash, then get back and let... No, I want you to keep a damn trash bag on your lift and just stay there and work like an intelligent human being so it doesn't blow all over the roadway and the freeway. So we have to have some common sense here. Nothing hits the ground means that it goes into a trash can, it goes into a bucket. Your cut stations have a trash can at the end of them or a gondola at the end of them, or it's on a spray painted pallet, color coded by trade, or it's on a greenie, it's on wheels, or staged right where it needs to go. Like if you're doing drywall, it's right there on the wall where it needs to go. It's not staged out in the middle of the floor. Probably one of the dumbest damn things I've ever seen in my life is when people stage drywall on the floor out in the middle of open areas. You can stage, and I've seen it over and over, drywall in rooms where it goes by sheet exactly where they need to go, usually with standard lengths, without staging it down out in the middle of the hallway. And also with the studs. Bring those things out pre-cut, finish your area, mobilize your material when you're done. So I think just-in-time material deliveries with buffers are from supermarkets, and then making sure that your areas are clean, right, and having nothing hit the floor. These are really great things. And then cords, really, you just got to get serious about it. You got to be like, hey, everybody, here are the clips. We're going to put them throughout the floor. I want all the cords up. And when you see it, they get fixed. And if cords are all over the place, I wouldn't recommend cutting them. I don't think that's a really nice thing to do, but grabbing them and picking them up after a couple of days of that, bringing them back in the office and having a very serious and respectful talk with those individuals will get that fixed right away. And people will make a ton of money if there aren't any cords on the ground. So let's go ahead and get right into this podcast. So my vision of creating standard work, and now back in the day, the reason that Deming and some other people, and I'm not saying entirely, thought that you should create standard work is because they thought workers and some people were stupid. Now I don't. I know that's not true. I want to create standard work because I respect people. Meaning that if a crew is going out to install underground piping, why don't they get pictures of what it should look like? Why don't they get training on a daily basis so they can be awesome at what they do? Why don't they have a QC checklist so that they don't have to do rework? One of the most demoralizing things is having installed something and having to dig the damn thing back up and fix it over and over and over. Ask the workers. Even if you think they're bad people, which they're not, and you're a dirtbag because you think that, but even if you thought that workers were less of human beings, and you just assume that, and you were like, yeah, they don't mind, they don't care about quality. Go ask them. You can see these people are frustrated and pissed off when they have to go back and fix something. There's nothing more demoralizing. Now I know the truth, which is that the workers and foremen are beautiful human beings, and we respect them by making sure that they have standard work and they don't have to do it again. So that's where I am with it. So I read this from Taiichi Ohno, Toyota Production System, or I listened to it rather, but then I downloaded a free PDF, which I'll send you if you want. But this is the chapter, and I'll quote it directly. Writing the standard worksheet yourself. And I'd like to ask you, there's 2 key points in here that I fell in love with, and I want to see if you find them. And we're going to talk about them at the end of the podcast. This is Taiichi Ohno himself, translated into English. Writing the standard worksheet yourself. In each Toyota Motor Company plant, as well as in the production plants of cooperating firms. Okay, let's start over. In each Toyota Motor Company plant, as well as in the production plants of cooperating firms adopting the Toyota production system, visual control is thoroughly established. Standard worksheets are posted prominently at each workstation. When one looks up, the andon, the line stop indication board, comes into view, showing the location and nature of trouble situations at a glance. Furthermore, boxes containing parts brought to the side of the production line arrive with an attached kanban, the visual symbol of the Toyota production system. Here, however, I want to discuss the standard worksheet as a means of visual control, which is how the Toyota production system is managed. Standard worksheets and the information contained in them are important elements of the Toyota production system. For a production person to be able to write a standard worksheet that other workers can understand, he or she must be convinced of its importance. We have eliminated waste by examining available resources, rearranging machines, improving machining processes, installing autonomous systems, improving tools, analyzing transportation methods, and optimizing the amount of materials at hand for the machine. High production efficiency has also been maintained by preventing the reoccurrence of defective products, operational mistakes, and accidents, and by incorporating workers' ideas. All of this is possible because of the inconspicuous standard worksheet. A standard worksheet effectively combines materials, workers, and machines to produce efficiently. At Toyota, this procedure is called a work combination. The result is the standard work procedure. The standard worksheet has changed little since I was first asked to prepare one 40 years ago at the textile plant. However, it is based thoroughly on principles and plays an important role in Toyota's visual control system. It clearly lists the three elements on the standard work procedure as 1. Cycle time, 2. Work sequence, 3. Standard inventory. Cycle time is the time allotted to make one piece or unit. This is determined by production quantity. That is, the quantity required and the operating time. Quantity required per day is the quantity required per month divided by that month's number of operating days. Cycle time is computed by dividing operating hours by the quantity required per day. Even when cycle time is determined this way, individual times may differ. In Japan, it is said that time is the shadow of motion. In most cases, delay is generated by differences in operator motion and sequence. The job of the field supervisor, section chief, or group foreman is to train workers. I have always said that it should take only 3 days to train new workers in proper work procedures. When instruction in the sequence and key motions is clear, workers quickly learn to avoid redoing a job or producing defective parts. To do this, however, the trainer must actually take the hands of the workers and teach them. This generates trust in the supervisor. At the same time, workers must be taught to help each other. Because people are doing the work rather than machines, there will be individual differences in work times caused by physical conditions. These differences will be absorbed by the first worker in the process, just as in the baton touch zone in track relay. Carrying out the standard work methods in the cycle time helps worker harmony grow. The team work sequence means just what it says. It does not refer to the order of processes along which products flow. It refers rather to the sequence of operations, or the order of operations in which a worker processes items, transporting them, mounting them on machines, removing them from machines, and so on. Standard inventory refers to the minimum intra-process work in process needed for operations to proceed. This includes items mounted on machines. Even without changing machine layout, standard inventory between processes is generally unnecessary if work is carried out in the order of machining processes. All that is needed are the items mounted on the various machines. On the other hand, one item's worth or two where items are mounted on machines of standard inventory will be required if work proceeds by machine function rather than by process flow. In the Toyota production system, the fact that parts have to arrive just in time means that standard inventories have to be met that much more rigorously. So here's a test of what I just read, which I think is amazing. What are the two things that stood out? And yep, you got it. Standard work. I love the thought of cycle time, work sequence, and standard inventory being on that sheet. For instance, if you're installing underground pipe, why not have a standard tack time or cycle within the day even, or maybe even within the week of how this work is installed, right? If it's a tacked wagon on an overhead MEP project, why not have that weekly work plan, that cycle time for that week at the top of your feature of work board? Then the work sequence. On the left, what are the steps that are required to properly install it and do it quality at the right time? On the right, here are the pictures and the things to watch out for. On the back of the card or some conspicuous area, what are the steps needed to double check the work before moving forward, right? And what materials and inventory and tools and parts do you need to actually make sure that you have enough materials so that workers aren't waiting on materials, but not too much. So why not have the buffer there right on the card, the material inventory buffer, and the inventory amounts right there on the feature of work board, the standard work. The other thing that stood out for me is that Taiichi Ohno said the job of the field supervisor, section chief, or group foreman, or in the case of the field and construction foreman, is to train workers. He said, I have always said that it should take only 3 days to train new workers in proper work procedures. When instruction in the sequence and key motions is clear, workers quickly learn to avoid redoing a job or producing defective parts. So 2 things for me. Is every foreman taught daily to teach and be hands-on with their workers? And then number 2, for everything that we do on our standard work, our feature of work boards, our visual feature of work boards, do we have 1, the cycle time, 2, the work sequence, and 3, any standard inventory needed in addition to the pictures, in addition to the safety items, in addition to the quality installation points, so that any worker can at any time stop the work when they notice something wrong, deviating from that standard work, call the foreman, and wait for training and help and instruction. So I really hope that this helps. I want you to be able to take the same journey as I take in learning these things for myself. So I figured I'd read you that little quote from the book, Taiichi Ohno, Toyota Production System. The current condition is you can't go out and find foremen with crews that have visual standards. And it's a shame because we have submittals. So why not just add the visual feature work boards with our quality processes to that process? So here are some questions. Do you have standard work? Are you teaching your people? And do your people and do you as foremen feel enabled to pull the andon to stop the work when things are going awry, when non-quality work is taking place, so that you can prevent it from being passed down to the customer and doing it again? I hope this has been helpful, and on we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and leaving a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time on the Elevate Construction Podcast.